hay un solo calcetín. Era Lola en pantalones. Era Dolly en el colegio. Era Dolores cuando firmaba. En mis brazos fue siempre Lolita.
Lolita, una de las mejores muestras de la cultura contemporánea americana, llega a la pantalla en la extraordinaria versión del director Adrian Lyne. Lolita es una tragicomedia sobre una pasión obsesiva. La hilarante, perturbadora, subyugante y conmovedora historia de un amor prohibido y sus aniquiladoras consecuencias. La pasión y el amor fatal de un hombre por una niña.
I like movies that create discussion. I love it. I love it when they haven't forgotten about your movie by dinner time afterwards. You know, and they're still arguing about it the next day. That's what a movie should do. It should make you argue and disagree. I wanted to make a movie of Nabokov's novel because it's, I think, one of the great novels of this century. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you horrified, and that's all you can want for a movie.
La novela del distinguido autor ruso Vladimir Nabokov sedujo al mundo desde el principio. Su historia editorial fue polémica y algunos pensaban que era un libro escandaloso sobre un tema tabú. Su autor negó siempre cualquier inclinación ajena a sus intereses como autor por el controvertido asunto que trataba la novela, pero este escritor, recién inmigrado, había removido los cimientos de Estados Unidos.
It's set in 1947. He's an academic who comes to live in America, and he stays as a lodger with a lady called Charlotte Hayes in New England.
So much work to keep it healthy and green. A life's work.
Good, and cut it. Very good indeed. Let's do the last one now. Right.
It's so much work to keep it healthy and green. It's a life's work.
And there he meets Lolita, who's Charlotte's daughter.
Sound spit. A mark. B mark. Action.
Humbert está enamorado del recuerdo de Annabelle, su primer amor adolescente. Lolita es una sustituta. Su relación con Humbert es un medio para obtener lo que necesita y desea, y también para conseguir libertad. Swain grabó una cinta de vídeo casero con una amiga y la envió por correo a la productora. Al cabo de unos días, Lane la llamó y le pidió que fuera a Nueva York para unas pruebas de cámara.
She just was a natural, really. I mean, she'd never acted on any level at all, not even at school. She'd done nothing. And she had less nerves, I would say, than any actor I've ever worked with. Extraordinary, really. And she really kind of played herself, really. You're about to shut the door, even start to shut the door, and then you think that you'll kiss Louise, okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so do one more like that, really nice.
¿Cómo dice?
She sees that Lolita is kind of attracted to Humbert as well. So they're both really rivals for the affection of Humbert.
Para el director, las descripciones de Nabokov eran tan viscerales, tangibles y palpables que constituían verdaderas indicaciones de rodaje. Se veía claramente dónde había que situar la cámara.
Well, she's talking. Every time I stop, she's talking.
Yeah. Answer back a bit less.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
All right, here we go. Quiet, please. We're rolling.
Rolling. Action!
Background.
I told you to put the suitcase in the car an hour ago. Louise, thank you so much for helping the poor child.
Scott, go. And turn right in there, DC. Sir, the car's turning.
But it's nice that kind of looking up at it, you know? Do the same idea. Don't try and hold the car.
Okay.
All right, give him action.
Adrian ha leído y estudiado Lolita más que nadie. Conoce el libro de tal manera que alcanza la erudición. De cualquier forma y bajo su atenta mirada, Adrian deja a los actores libertad para representar al personaje.
The biggest thing for me was with Adrian, was he said to me, everything with Charlotte is out, nothing is in. And that was, once I could do that, and once I can do that every day, it's a big thing, you know, but Charlotte is so outside and external and loud and brassy.
Coche, lo que resulta muy oportuno para Humbert. Y así es como consigue quedarse a solas con Lolita.
Well, on the middle, there's 3 lines. There's one this side, there's that line there. Hang something up, we'll give you something white. Can we do this?
Visita mi canal.
Los directores norteamericanos se sienten más cómodos trabajando con héroes. En cambio, a los directores europeos les gusta abordar personajes más vulnerables, más conflictivos.
Quite nice.
Adrian ha vivido dentro del guión con una tremenda intensidad.
Adrian Lyne had so much passion to make Lolita, and to find a director who has passion to make anything is a rare thing these days in any business.
Adrian Lyne is one of the most interesting people that I've ever met in my life.
No podría precisar qué día tuve por primera vez la absoluta certeza de que nos seguían. Nuestro perseguidor era astuto.
It's a road trip because they can't stop, because they cannot be known by, they've got to remain strangers or the nature of their relationship will become known, so they have to keep moving on.
Lane nunca dudó de que el actor que tenía que interpretar a Humbert era Jeremy Irons, que ya obtuvo un Oscar en el año 90 por El misterio de Von Bülow, cuyas increíbles creaciones en el cine y el teatro son legendarias.
Quilty in the movie really represents the tension in the movie. I mean, he's a frightening figure that you see kind of very rarely. You see him in a kind of a shadowy way in a car that's following. You see him in the shadows at the Enchanted Hunter. Humbert obviously has no excuse for what he did. But I do think that the root of his disease was Annabelle Lee. That relationship with Annabelle when he was 14. And the relationship where she died, and he never got over it.
I think that Humbert is more in love with his memory of the woman he lost.
It's about a man who fell in love with somebody he lost, with a dream that he lost, Annabelle, and who remained in love with her.
Adrian Lyne ha encontrado tanto en Jeremy Irons como en Dominique Swain a los actores perfectos para representar los papeles de Humbert y Lolita.
Hey, Marker. Background. Action.
Wow, looks wet.
Good, brother, do it again. Do it again. Back you go. Reset quickly. This time, say it before you step down. You know what I'm saying?
I think that Lolita is very similar to myself, and not that we're going through the same circumstances, but that we both react in whatever way seems natural at the moment.
Lo bueno de Dominique, dice Lyne, es que tiene frescura y es excéntrica. Tiene una extraña cualidad difícil de describir.
Move that paper around and action.
La finalización de Lolita fue muy complicada, con su rodaje de más de 3 meses en 80 localizaciones diferentes de 6 estados y 35 ciudades. Trabajando estrechamente con el diseñador de producción John Hartman y la encargada de las localizaciones Patty Doherty, el director Lyne dedicó 2 años a la exploración de diversos lugares de los Estados Unidos que pudieran ofrecer el aspecto de posguerra de los años 40.
There's a moment that I really like when her foot just brushes, her bare foot brushes against his leg when she crosses over going past him to another part in the garden. And I wanted to get a sense of, did she know what she had done or didn't she? I wanted it to be ambiguous. So there was a sense of heat and sexuality there, that where he could have construed it as being something that she did on purpose.
Undoubtedly, Lolita is a very polemical film. Is it something you like, to take risks with a film?
I think if a film can challenge an audience, perhaps alter their perception of life or part of life a little, if it can make them question things that are deeply held, if it can make them understand situations, understand man's behavior a little bit differently, a little bit more clearly, then that film, that story is worth telling.
Now the film is a story of love, passion, jealousy, with a very complicated character. How do you manage to get under the skin of dark characters like the one you have to play here?
I think we all have darkness in us, and we all have light in us. We all have many things in us, and acting is simply exploring and expressing a situation, an imagined situation, a pretended situation for the camera, but nevertheless as real when you're doing it as any situation in life. And so I will explore the particular qualities that are needed for any character. I will find them within myself and live a life in between making those films where I continue to expand myself, and so that I am, so to speak, getting to be a better and better instrument the longer I live, I hope.
And you think that the jealousy is a part of that dark side, dark world that inhabits in us?
I think it is. Jealousy, fortunately, is something I don't have in large measure. I've always known that jealousy, like envy, is like a rot within you. It is a very negative emotion. And fortunately, it's not something I have in life. But I suppose I can play it. I played one film called Un Amour de Swan, Swan in Love, based on the Proust, which was all about jealousy. So I have explored that area, but I'm glad to say it's not something which I have.
You're a man that knows passion and is known for having a passionate feeling for his work and life. Do you think that such a strong feeling as passion can bring you about to kill?
Oh yes.
Y tus trailers, visita mi canal.
Grateful that I've never been pushed to that, but I think within any of us is a possible murderer, within any of us, given the right or the wrong situation.
And would anything be legitimate in order to get the woman you love?
Well, it depends if she loves you.
You seem to have a certain thing for a seducer. You consider, as some magazines do, that you are a woman's man, a seducer of woman.
I think that's because of the characters I play on film.
And is your character in Lolita a selfish, sort of a macho kind of character, in the sense that he's selfish because he just is after his own happiness without bearing any consideration for the feelings that somebody else might have?
Yes, I think he is. Well, the cross he carries is that he knows he can't do anything else, but that he knows that his actions are not bringing happiness to the girl he loves, and he knows his actions are wrong, which for me means he's not a real sinner. The real sinners, for me, are the ones who sin and have no idea they're sinning. They don't know what sin is. Humbert, I think, is a moral man, and he knows he's doing wrong, but he can't help himself, or doesn't help himself.
I would like to know a bit about the relationship you had with the rest of the members of the cast during the shooting of the film.
Well, my relationship with Melanie Griffith was one of hand-holding and laughter. She was at the time falling passionately in love with Antonio Banderas, and so one was supporting her through that, and many phone calls and all of that. With Adrian Lyne, my relationship was one of mutual support, while we explored together the emotions and the route and the direction that Humbert would go. And I always felt greatly supported by him. I think the performance that he gets from me comes from his great talent. And he is a man who was passionate to make this film. 6 years ago we first talked about it. He felt that, as many people do, that Lolita is one of the great books of the 20th century. And he felt that Stanley Kubrick's film in the 60s was not true to the book, was not the film that the book deserved, and he wanted to make his Lolita.
Going back on Kubrick's, what differences would you say there are between Kubrick's film and this version of Lolita? At least what sort of differences do you think the public will perceive?
I think Kubrick's film is much colder. It's much more removed. It doesn't involve the public in Humbert's dilemma, in Humbert's journey, as the book does. Humbert is the storyteller in the book, and as the reader you go through that story through his head. I think Adrian creates that in the movie. In Kubrick's film, Quilty, who is Humbert's alter ego, the side of himself he fears and detests. With Peter Sellers' interpretation, Quilty becomes more of a colourful character almost than Humbert. I don't think that's what Nabokov meant. And Sue Lyon, Kubrick made her Lolita a sort of icon, which was worshipped from afar by Humbert. Whereas I think the greatness of the performance that Dominic Swain gives and that Adrian got from Dominic Swain is that she is all of our daughters. Funny, wacky, silly, attractive, because many girls of 15 are devastatingly attractive. I think Adrian has mined the soul of the book in a way that Kubrick was not able to, for whatever reasons, or didn't choose to. It's a very delicate tale, a very delicate story. It is a story that is within all of us. And this, I think, is why the film is getting such strong reactions, because Adrian makes a film which gets inside us, finds the Humbert within all of us, or the Lolita within all of us. And I think people find that very unnerving. There is a taste at the moment for what we might call feel-good movies, movies that make you just feel great, you just have a good time, like a drug, just cheers you up and sends you out feeling great. Lolita is not that movie. Lolita is a film for the intelligent, thinking audience who want to be taken somewhere quite else.
Do you fear criticism, particularly with this film, the kind of criticism that this film may raise?
Adrian always gets very badly criticized with his films. All his films always have done. And yet they've all been greatly successful. So whether we expect criticism, I don't fear it. What I fear is the feebleness of the distributors in daring to distribute it. I would like to say to some studios and some distributors, are you men or are you mice? I would like to live in a world of men.
I have just two more questions to come to an end. One is, what do you do with your free time? And for last, I'd like to ask you a little bit about Chinese box. What could you tell us about it?
My free time is not long enough, ever. Although I don't work very much, I make maybe 1 or 2 films a year. But for me, life is never long enough. I have a family, I have 2 boys. One now just about to leave home, he's 19, one of 12, who's very much still at home. I have a home in England and a home in Ireland. My soul, I think, resides in Ireland. In Ireland I sail, and I ride, and I drive my horses also, and I breed my horses. And I've just last year bought a 14th century tower house in Ireland, which hasn't been inhabited since 1600, and I'm beginning to plan to refurbish that. So I wish the days were twice as long as they are. I'm always and always have been happier when I'm not working. I'm very fortunate that I work in a business which earns me the money to enable me to do these other things that I love. So those are some of the things I like to do.
And about Chinese box?
Chinese Box is, I think, a delightful film directed by Wayne Wang, set in Hong Kong in the 6 months leading up to the handover to the Chinese. Wayne was born and raised in Hong Kong, although he now lives in San Francisco. And Chinese Box, which is largely an improvised film, a film that we, though finally we might have written down some of the scenes before we started shooting them, the storylines were very vague when we started, and we created the story as we filmed, waiting to see what would happen in the lead up to the handover, terminating the film with the handover. And Wayne describes it, I think rightly, as his love letter to Hong Kong. It's a collage of that life centered around 3 main characters. Myself, who plays a political journalist, who is, like the English, has only 6 more months to live in this place. So his life is coming to an end as the English life is coming to an end, which enables him to see it very clearly and to try to make sense of his life and his life there in Hong Kong, and to make sense of Hong Kong. And he becomes involved, or has been involved, with 2 women, one played by Gong Li, the great Chinese actress, who in a way represents the English fascination with China, and the other girl played by Maggie Chung, who is a Hong Kong actress, who in a way represents Hong Kong. And my character has 2 very different sorts of obsessions with these 2 women. And that is woven through this collage of this very particular rock set, like a pimple on the face of China, where people from around the world gather to make as much money trading as they can.
You're happy with the end result of the film?
Quitus trailers.
I
Visita
am.
mi
I
canal.
think you go into a film without a script at your peril, and I think it gives the film strengths, and I think it gives it weaknesses. I think the overall structure of the film is a little uneven, but I think the sum of all the scenes is a very satisfying sum, and I think audiences will enjoy it on many levels.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.